Welcome to the channel, everyone. I'm Skratch. This is another Warcraft Rumble video. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. In today's video, guys, we're gonna do a PVE tier list for leaders. Now, recently we've done a PvP tier list for leaders, but of course, they are two completely different scenes, right? You cannot put them all together and make the ultimate tier list because it will be pretty inaccurate. So in today's video, we're going to focus on PvE. First, I just want to say a big thank you to Blizzard for sponsoring today's video. And if you guys want to download the game, you can do so by clicking the link in the description down below or in the pinned comment and come and join us in Warcraft Rumble. We're gonna do it in the exact same way we've done it for the PvP tier list, guys. We're going to drag all of the characters to the corresponding tier, but we're gonna do everything in game, and at the end, I'm going to show you basically the final result just to have a better interpretation of the entire tier list. So let's crack on with the very first leader, guys. We're going to start again from the left. Right here we have Mage Shadow Song. While he's a pretty strong unit for PvP, I feel like for PvE is not as great. And it has a few cons, being squishy. He does deal good damage and stuff. You will require to use quite a few unbound units to really make the most out of the deck. So I will place this leader in the C tier for PvE, right? It's quite a bit of a drop from the PvP tier list, but I feel like that's the right spot for him. Then we have Tyrion. Now, Tyrion is an absolute beast for PvE, guys. One of the best leaders for PvE. Very, very powerful tank, right? He gives you the healing. He can really support your team. If you're getting the right talent on him, Divine Shield is definitely a very strong one for him in here. He can definitely do some amazing work in PvE content. Just in general, I'm not talking only about quests. I'm talking about raids. I'm talking about dungeons. I'm talking about campaign, you know. He's definitely very solid. So I'm going to rank Tyrion as an S tier for PvE. Yes, you've heard that right. Then we have Jana. Jana, she is pretty decent for PvE content as well. Again, increases the level of your spells by 3 while she is in play. You can definitely use a lot of strong spells in PvE content and gain massive value. It only costs you 3 gold to deploy this leader, which is very nice. So I'm gonna put Jana in the A tier for PvE. Then, of course, we're gonna have the big Cairn Blood Hoth. Actually, pretty nice for PvE content, to be honest. I feel like you're going to encounter more waves of enemies. The AoE damage is gonna be nice. The stun will be very nice from the aftershock. So yes, I would definitely put him in the B tier, to be honest with you guys. I feel like he deserves to be there. Mainly, what I don't like so much about him is the high cost for the gold. He is pretty slow as a unit. He's not a bad tank, but they're definitely much better options. So the B tier is just right for him. Then we have a Gragash. Gragash is actually a bit better for PvE than he is for PvP, in my opinion. Definitely more useful. You have a 4 gold cost for him. Again, the Bloodlust can be very nice. Will make your allies way more powerful. Single target damage, right? Melee. He is a decent tank, but not the craziest tanks out there. So he's going to go in the B tier as well. Then we have Sneed, guys. It will be a bit of a change from PvP to PvE. I still don't think he's insane for PvE content as well, to be honest with you guys. A 5 gold cost, yes, he's great against siege units and all that stuff. But to be honest, I feel like he doesn't really deserve more than a B tier, right? So maybe a B plus, you know, just for what he can do in PvE. But he's not a bad unit, you know. Especially if you are able to invest in better leaders early on, guys. Some of these leaders will become pretty irrelevant. So you're going to run them in dungeons, right? Because you're going to want to do that regardless and stuff. But I feel like they're going to become very niche, right? And they won't be as impactful as other leaders that can be just better in general. So B tier for Sneed. Rand Blackhand, guys. Again, another S tier, even in PvE. He's actually very strong in PvE. You have the Drake's AoE damage, which is very nice. He can easily deal with all of the ground units. If you have the right talent as well, Legionary, you're gonna have basically 2 damage dealers for the same cost. Bringing in flying units is going to be a bit easier than in PvP. You're gonna be able to run more flying units in your deck and really gain a lot of value from him. The gold cost is pretty high, but still, he definitely deserves that S tier for PvE. Another solid leader for PvE. We have Emperor in here. Definitely another S tier. So a very good tank, right? You have the range, AoE damage, a 4 gold cost. Very solid. Not only for raids, not only for campaign, quests, dungeons, but just overall, he's a very, very solid leader. And if you're asking me, Skratch, who should I invest in more, Emperor or a Blackhand? I feel like the Emperor will take the crown just overall in general as a leader. So another S tier right here. Then we have General Drakisat. Maybe a bit better in PvE than in PvP, but again, he's still maintaining a top rank, to be honest with you guys. I'm gonna put him in the A tier, a 5 gold cost, piercing blows, a solid talent on him. He can tank really well, though. He can tank really well, deal solid damage, and I think he definitely deserves to be in the A tier. Then we have the Baron. Oh my god, the Baron. I feel like this is the ultimate leader in the entire game, to be honest. S tier in PvP, S tier in PvE. Again, a cost of 4 gold only. A very good cost for a leader that is able to do so many amazing things. Tank, decent damage. But of course, summoning those mages is definitely going to be the creme de la creme on this leader. Chill of the Grave as a talent, guys. 100% in my opinion, this deserves the title of the best leader in the entire game, just overall. I feel like nothing else comes as close to Baron. The Emperor is very solid too, but I still prefer Baron over, to be honest. So another S tier leader right here for PvE content. Then, of course, we have Blood Mage Talus, a 4 gold cost. For PvP was not the best, and I feel like for PvE, again, is not going to be the best either. And yes, you're going to gain extra levels on your leader, but I feel like it's not going to be as impactful. Now, in some cases where you're really struggling, maybe in campaign with your levels on your troops and stuff, this can be helpful to have a much higher level on your leader, but then at the same time, once he dies, that pretty much disappears. So I'm not the biggest fan. I'm going to put this one in the C tier. Okay, so I feel like maybe in the PvP was in the B tier. I can't really remember it, but definitely not that insane for PvE. Then we have Sylvanas here. Damn, she dropped a lot on the tier list from the PvP one, guys. So a 6 gold cost unit, single target damage. It can shoot in a straight line. It can definitely annihilate harpies and other things like that. But to be honest, for PvE is one of the worst leaders that you can have. Very costly. Is not really going to tank. Is a squishy unit. Decent damage, but not the most insane damage to justify it. So I'm going to place her in the D tier, guys. I feel like that's where she belongs. But let me know your opinion in the comments down below, guys. Then, moving over to the Scenarians. They are not performing that great in PvP, right? But what about PvE? So, Onu, a 6 gold cost. I feel like even in PvE, with this high cost and everything else that he does, right? I feel like for PvP, he is a bit better than for PvE, to be honest with you guys. So, I would put Onu in the C tier. I feel like that's a sweet spot for him. Yes, he's not the worst leader in the game, but he's definitely not at the top with the other guys that are really, really more effective. They do benefit you more. They do better things at a lower cost, right? So C tier for Onu is definitely the right spot. Now, on the other hand, for Scenarious, guys, at a 5 gold cost, giving you the ability to control the enemies on the board, right? I feel like it's definitely going to push him quite a bit on the ranks. So I'm gonna put Scenarious as an A tier for PvE content. Definitely very, very nice. You can get a bit of healing, and just being able to root the enemies. I feel like that's the way to go with him. Pretty nice for PvE, because you're going to encounter tons and tons of waves of enemies. If you're doing some campaign, if you're doing some dungeons, you have so many enemies coming your way that it really becomes problematic, right? So he's definitely very helpful. So A tier for him. He definitely climbed quite a bit. Then we have Weera the Dreamer, guys. So I do think that this leader is better in PvE than is in PvP, where it's not as crucial what troops you're getting. So for a 3 gold cost, giving you the ability to summon whelps, to have a spell that will increase your gold production, a different spell that would sleep the enemies, or having even the Drake as well to deal a good chunk of damage, I feel like it's definitely making this leader better for PvE. So this time around, Weera is going to go in the B tier. I feel like it's definitely the right spot. Then we have Hoger. I like Hoger, guys. As I mentioned before, I feel like he's one of the best tanks in the game, you know, and constantly increasing the speed, the HP with the right talent really makes him a powerhouse at a 4 gold cost. So definitely a solid unit that in PvE, in my opinion, will go in the A tier. Good AoE damage as well, you know, so definitely not a bad unit whatsoever. And the A tier is where he belongs. Then, coming over to Old Merkey. Old Merkey is definitely much better in PvE than in PvP. Having the ability to constantly spawn a lot of Murlocs is definitely very, very good. And while they are all squishy and stuff, I do feel like it's going to work much better in PvE. So 4 gold cost, then you can just spam a lot of gold and spam a lot of Murlocs with that. So I'm gonna put him in the A tier for PvE content, guys. And if you're wondering what talent to get on him, Marathon of the Murlocs is definitely the best thing, because you're going to extend it by 5 seconds, which does give you quite a bit of an advantage, you know, to spam a lot of Murlocs. Then we have Chalga. So for PvP, I'm just not a fan of this leader, and to be honest, it's the same for PvE. Now, I find that in PvE, you're gonna end up in some cases having more units that have a higher cost, right? So you're gonna have a lot of RNG with this leader. And while I know that a lot of people might prefer this leader for particular reasons in different content and stuff, I still think that it doesn't deserve more than a B tier, in my opinion, right? So we're gonna put Chalga in the B tier. And for our final leader, guys, as I mentioned in the previous video as well, I haven't unlocked him just yet. But basically, what this leader will do is will go on your nearest tower, and it will basically cover the tower and protect it, right? Now, in some cases in PvE, you're gonna get overwhelmed by enemies, right? And he can come in handy. But I feel like it's just not enough to justify it. I feel like in PvP is a bit better than in PvE. So I'm gonna put him on the D tier, okay? Him and Sylvanas being like the worst PvE leaders in Warcraft Rumble. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and let me just show you how the final tier list looks like. So if you don't really want to listen to everything that I said and you just want to get a better representation, guys, there it is. This is my tier list for the best PvE leaders in Warcraft Rumble. Of course, this is based on my opinion and on my experience. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. As usual, appreciate all of you guys watching. Much love, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.